A handful of optimists aside, many people in the know don't think that the Copenhagen Climate Summit will do much to start weaning the world off greenhouse gases. The UN climate chief, Ivo de Boer, admitted as much last week, acknowledging that a full treaty isn't on the cards this year. The gaps between the developed and developing worlds are just too great. The best hope is that there is an agreement on the structure, with the details to come later. Last week, the British government released a global map of their estimates of what the world will be like in 2050 if Copenhagen is an epic fail. They predict that failure to halt increasing emissions could cause 4 degrees warming across the globe by mid-century. To put this in perspective, 2 degrees warming above pre-industrial levels is seen as the trigger for what's usually called catastrophic climate change. That's the point at which the warming causes feedback loops. For example, the release of massive stores of greenhouse gas from melting Siberian permafrost, which in turn would accelerate the pace of the warming. The British analysis suggests an average 4 degrees warming would be worse than it sounds. The average increase across the land would actually be 5.5 degrees. The oceans would warm at a slower rate. The variation in temperature range would be as vast as the planet, from a frankly frightening 16 degrees at the North Pole as the Arctic ice disappears, down to just 2 degrees in the south of New Zealand. In Australia, the prediction is a 3-degree rise where most of us live, along the coast. But temperatures would go up 5 degrees in the red centre and 6 degrees in outback Western Australia, Queensland and New South Wales. The risk of forest fire is projected to become high across large parts of the continent, but especially on the eastern seaboard. Elsewhere, projections include the loss of large areas of the Amazon forest due to drought or the uncontrolled spread of fire. Agricultural yields could decrease by up to a fifth in some areas, putting hundreds of millions of people at risk from hunger. The increase in malnourished children could top 24 million, mainly in sub-Saharan Africa and parts of South Asia and Central America. And by 2075, the homes of up to 150 million people could be flooded based on a conservative sea level rise of 53 centimetres. To borrow the words of Ross Garnaut, failure to act will cause some diabolical problems.